Welcome to the review board, where nothing escapes judgment. Now, many of us know that there are tons of different types of anime shows out there. One of the ones that I'm going to focus on today is an anime called Bleach. Now, Bleach blasted onto the scene a few years back and grew immense popularity almost immediately. Since its release, there have been movies, manga, clothing, action figures, and virtually every knick-knack and bauble you can think of in order to take advantage of this very popular anime. While naturally this would call for some video games to be released, but funny enough, the games concerning this franchise have basically stayed overseas in Japan, being only available in an imported form, which would require the use of a modded system in order to play them. And once you had them, if you weren't fluent in reading and translating Japanese, you were pretty much shit out of luck. Now, there have been a couple of handheld releases over here in the US, but they haven't really been much to brag about. But just last week, after a couple years, we finally see Bleach on main consoles right here on American soil in the form of Bleach Soul Resurrection. Now, will this game be a long overdue dose of Soul Reaper goodness we've been waiting for, or is it something that should have stayed where we couldn't be affected about how bad it is? I'll be the judge of that. The game starts off very deep into the series, where a group of Soul Reapers have betrayed Soul Society and journeyed to the realm of the Hollows, the Soul Reapers' sworn enemies, to develop their own anti-Soul Reaper army called Arankars. You play the role of Ichigo Kurosaki and a number of other friends and fellow Soul Reapers to travel to the realm of Hueco Mundo and stop the evil Sosuke Aizen and keep him from invading the realm of the living. Now, being that I keep up with the series, I knew exactly what was going on. But what if I didn't? What if I walked into my GameStop and saw this on the shelf, and from the cover it looked pretty cool, and then I popped it in? I have no idea what's going on, and that could almost kill the entertainment value for me almost immediately, as I'm sure it would a lot of other people. But that's enough of a synopsis of the storyline. Let's get down into the nitty-gritty of the game. Graphically, the game is beautiful. It uses that cel shading technique that a lot of anime games tend to stick with to give you that real animated feel, which on that looks absolutely superb. Unfortunately, this is pretty much the only good thing I have to say about the game. Here comes the bad stuff. The game is way too short. Story mode is only a measly 14 levels of doing the same thing over and over and over again. Walk around, kill hollows, get bored and annoyed, and dash past everything in order to get to the boss, complete the level, and make some attempt to upgrade your character. Controls are basic and easy to get a hang of, but ultimately the characters don't have enough substance in their moveset in order to make it entertaining. There's no technique, it's just button mashing, which for people that aren't avid video game players, you'll probably be right at home with that, but with me, I need a little more substance. So you find yourself just spamming one or two moves just to get people out of the way so you can keep progressing. Now, another thing I would like to touch on is on the selection of the characters available to play with. Out of all of the people that are available in the Bleach franchise, a lot of them being considered part of the main cast, there are only 21 people to pick from out of almost 100 or so characters. And some of these people, like I said, that are considered part of the main cast, they're nowhere to be found. For people that actually know the series, there no Applerai Renji, no Chad, Urahara is nowhere to be found in this game. Over half the roster is friggin' bad guys. I mean, why would I want to play with the bad guys? I want to play with the good guys. Orihime is nowhere to be found. A lot of the people that you would expect to be in a Bleach game, especially one where you're walking around hacking and slashing everything in sight, these people are nowhere to be found, and that's really kind of bad. But after you finish the ungodly short story mode, you move into mission mode, which is 23 missions of basically doing the same thing you were getting annoyed with in story mode. So, wow. It is just really, really bad. I wound up turning off this game just out of complete boredom and annoyance. The game was so poorly done that it's just I no longer cared if I finished it, and that's really only happened to me twice. I will usually try and finish a game in order to give y'all a very good in-depth review, but with this one, what I saw was enough to give y'all an accurate description. Overall judgment, if you're a hardcore Bleach fan, you'll probably find some entertainment in this game and be able to overlook some of the very blatant flaws that I was not able to overlook. But if you're a die-in-the-wool gamer like I am, you would be a lot more fulfilled getting something along the line of maybe Dynasty Warriors, whether it be the regular series or Gundam, if you're looking for a game to basically just be a one-man army. Now, a lot of anime series have gotten this treatment when it comes to video games in the US. A good chunk of the games, they do exist. I see them all over the place, whether it be online or at vendors' tables and anime conventions. These games do exist. For the life of me, I can't understand why Japan will keep them to themselves. The only two anime series that I can really think of that have actually prospered in the gaming world over here in the US have been Naruto and Dragon Ball Z. While both series have had their share of stinker games, they've also had some games that were absolutely fantastic. One of the series that I love the most is the Mobile Suit Gundam series, and I've definitely played my share of those games, and I gotta say, every single one of the games that I've played that have been really, really, really good have been imported games that you could only find in Japan. And why would you give us the scraps if you're trying to spread out the franchise? I mean, why give us only the bad stuff? That does nothing but make us hate the franchise as a whole, and you wind up losing an entire country as a possible buyer. So all I really got to say to that is, Japan, I love you, but quit being stingy with the good games. Anyway, this has been the Review Board, where nothing escapes judgment.